Today, this video has 3 parts to it. It has some of the headlines. I'll talk about the views of a video that I've just put out. When actually the views are more like that, but I'm not reflecting so that people don't see it. And the next part is about Harry and Nigel from the Devil's Playground 2 talking. Yeah, I actually really like the words that Harry said. I was trying to find a picture of Nigel smiling, but I couldn't find any of him smiling. He doesn't smile at all. One of the lessons he needs to learn is to smile. Anyway, I took a little bit of this video because I like the words. And they're talking about not just etymology, other things. But anyway, let's move on. Doing a little video here of some of the headlines, well, just a couple of the headlines that came in, but this is absolute madness. I'm sorry, it is. But anyway, I can't say very much because otherwise I'll get my video striked. But yeah, I'm just showing you the headlines that the paper are. 2 of the headlines, they came in yesterday, but I was doing other things. It took me hours to get that one on the beach on the go because they didn't like this and they didn't like that and whatever was going on. Or didn't like the music, didn't like, oh, well, 1 minute it was the music and then it ended up being the actual video. But anyway, so this is absolutely, come on, just there's no other word for it. It's just not real. You know what they're doing to the people. Utter unreality. Non-reality to the people. Anyway, on to the next bit. Wow. Just want to say, good deal on the t-shirts up here, 90% off, but they're probably still £20. Yeah, what to say. Anyway, on to the next bit. You have a few ways of seeing what it looks like on your admin panel, and these are the games that they play with you, you know, YouTube. So, here, it's post today, it says 147. This is in this part of my admin panel, okay? Here it only says 108, which is what everybody, these are the figures everybody else are going to see. I'm going to put the Admiral Byrd one out, and I've also got another one here. This one's going to go out at some point as well. You see, this is what the public see, but on my admin panel itself, that's what I see. So the post actually is at 281 and going up, and so the public only see that it's 100, and they'll leave that on there until they determine maybe it's 24 hours before they click it on. Eventually it will click on, but probably when most people have decided to watch it or not. And you know, sometimes when someone sees, God, look at that post, it's going up, oh, let's have a quick look at that. People do that kind of thing. But they, oh, that post hasn't got that many views. I'm not bothering to look. Oh, that view, that post's got loads of views. I'm going to look at that. Do you see what I mean? If this was following at the right speed to what's going on in content, well, it was videos, but it's now content, or on the other side of the page, then they just don't all add up. And I'll show you another place where it will add up. There you go, that's what the channel says, but I already told you it's at 300 now. So it's just crazy, isn't it? Because that's what you see. There you go. There it is at 289 on my other part of my admin panel. But people aren't going to see this number. There you go, 290. People are not going to see this number because they only see the 100 and something that have watched, but it's not. It's 290. And this is what they do to me all the time. If they're not cutting the end of my videos off, or giving me warnings, or I'm only showing mostly the truth. I'm just looking at it differently, and they don't like it. The moment I put a post out, usually somebody else has liked it immediately, but when I go to the admin panel, it's not there, so it must be them watching me. And I did ask to be monetised since June. I've been sitting there waiting. I've written to them on numerous occasions. The best way you can, you have to sort of copy it. You copy the screen and send it off. I've asked why, what do I need to do? I just wanted to know what it was. They could say, you know, we don't like your content, but they don't. They don't say anything to you. June, July, August, September, October, November, 6 months. They've left me waiting. It says like, I'll show you what it says. I've got nothing to hide. Hang on. There you go. It's been like this since June. 6 months. And it says down here, will help you monetize your videos after you've been accepted into the program. Well, they deleted my last channel. I was monetized, and it doesn't matter whether I am or I'm not. It's not going to stop me. That's not going to stop me putting my videos out whether I am monetized or not. But I thought, you know, you spend this much time doing it, like maybe 12 hours a day, making the videos so that I can send them to you so you can see, then why not? But 6 months without one goddamn word. You know, if they don't like what you're doing, why don't they write, well, you need to do this and you need to do that? No, they just leave you suspended. So I'm not in and I'm not out. And there's no one to write to either. No one. So you just have to screenshot it. You know, you can do it down here on your settings. Send feedback. You have to do it that way. But anyway, so the whole thing is just absolutely cocked up as far as I can see. Nigel had his own podcast today, or hangout, whichever you want, with his friend Harry. And there was something that Harry said that I really liked, so I'm going to put that bit in here.
Most people are just going to know, hang on, whoa. You know, it really is going to be too deep for a lot of people, because it's not easy to get your head around in the beginning. I have spoken about it on Karen's channel, as you know, a couple of times, but what I want to try and do is go through it step by step, and try and make it easier for people to get their head around. But you were saying before we went live, tell me about your view on what the quote-unquote Satan is.
Oh, well, of course, Satan, we all look at like the Hebrew shaitan, but when you just define the term, it's just the adversary. I mean, even the text will tell you, it's not necessarily a character, it's just a title. So when you look at language, a lot of times we skate over some essential points. And this is one story I wanted to share. During this time of awakening, and we're talking years now have gone by since that first looking into these alternative possible story origins. One of my sons came to me while we're looking at his little spelling list, and he says to me, "Hey Dad," he's 6 years old. He says, "Why is it that words are not spelled the way they sound?" And I said, "Oh, that's an easy answer." I told him English has rules. You know, I before E and except after C, you know? And that night, I didn't feel good about my answer, because there has to be more to it than just because of rules. So I looked into, what is etymology? Etymology is the study of words and their origins and their meanings. And that put me in the rabbit hole. I realized right then that it was because of language, the variations in languages, and how words it didn't matter what the word was, but how it sounds is what really matters, because the resonance from that word has a frequency, and that's what alters our consciousness and our understanding. So I give a lot of that credit to my 6-year-old, and I always tell him, I even put him in my book, and I gave him that credit. But Satan is just the adversary. He's not a guy with horns and a pitchfork with a tail.
Absolutely. So like in World War II, Germany was Satan, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And what we're going through now, you know, we people can clearly see we have an us and a them situation with all the nonsense that's going down. So would it be fair to say that if we see them as Satan, they would also see us as Satan?
Yes. Yeah, that's why you have the angel on one shoulder and the devil on the other, just because we are both. We are our own worst enemy, and we are our best ally at the same time. But to our enemy, we are their Satan, and to our ally, they are the Satan.
Right. Okay. What you were saying about words being resonance or having resonance, there's something that I came across. I've seen it years ago, and you can still find it online, where you have a stream of water coming out of a tap or a hose pipe or whatever, and you get a frequency, and you move the frequency close to the water, and you'll see that the water will start spiraling, or it will start forming a pattern or whatever. And you know, you got to remember, we're told that we're 70% water. Frequency, that's why they say words can cut you. Words can cut you like a knife. If you take the word words and move the S to the front, you've got sword, you know. Words can hurt you, words can make you or help you to feel happy. So there's a lot of truth in that. I mean, it doesn't matter what language you speak, it's just sounds that are coming out of your mouth. I mean, you can go and sit on the beach and watch all the baby seals, and they all sound the same to you and I, but one little baby seal, you know, makes a noise, its parents know, oh, there you are, you know what I mean? So it's everything's all relative to you know, to species. They say that whales can communicate, dolphins can communicate, and there's no reason to think that is not true. So where are you now when it comes to religion, or more importantly, Christianity? Where are you now, personally?
Well, now, and again, you take 25 years to get somewhere. You don't just rip the bandage off and it's all done. It was a process. I'd say it took at least 2 years to get rid of some of the stigma and some of the habits. But once you start looking at all the evidence, and you start looking at how the whole idea of that religion is just to bond you. Case in point, you are told that Jesus wants to make you his bondservant, right? The Greek word for that is doulos. Doulos, translated properly, means slave. Okay, it's not a servant, not some guy who's going to bring you a cup of hot tea for your sore throat. It is a slave. It's someone who's going to do your bidding for you because you don't want to do it.
Right.
That's all it is.
Okay. Well, that's something that I get down to in the PowerPoint that I'm making at the moment. And we're going to be talking at some point. We're going to be talking about the Cain and Abel story. Where it says Cain was a tiller of the ground. Well, you know, he was a keeper of slaves, essentially. When you look in the Greek, in the Hebrew, the ground means the whole earth, right? The whole visible earth. And the word tiller, or to till, has many meanings. And one of those meanings, or more than one of those meanings, are essentially a keeper of slaves, a teacher importantly as well. And you know, people have asked me in the past, well, when you look at the Strong's Concordance and you look at some of the meanings of these words, and they have many meanings, so how do you know which one to choose? Well, you've got to put it in context. An answer that I gave somebody the other day was, if you take a really simple word in the English language as on, O-N, how many uses? Please turn the light on. The house is on fire. You know, the book is on the table. You know,
you're on. You are on right now. Like,
absolutely, yeah. So there's so many different meanings that can be attached to that word depending on the context that it appears in. And that's why some of these Hebrew words and Greek words have got so many different meanings depending on the context. But yes, a tiller can mean a tiller of the soil, a farmer. But when we look at the whole sentence in context, it's more likely that Cain was a teacher. He was not a slave master as such, but more like a guide, more like, helping the slaves or the people who were in the garden at the time. And that's why he ended up killing Abel, because Abel was giving up the firstborn to the God of the Bible. Cain's going, hang on, you're giving my you're giving my slaves to this guy to eat them. But again, that's something that we can elaborate on much further. Once I've got the PPT finished and we can present that, then people will be able to see more.
You don't have to go too far to see where farming is not necessarily just about growing plants and crops.
Oh, absolutely.
Realtors, real estate agents, they farm an area, right?
Yeah.
They farm an area because they're looking for customers.
Yeah.
So that's in essence what Cain was doing. He was maintaining his herd of people that he was helping, and Abel was the herdsman, and he was the one killing them.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, he was the one with the big stick.
Yeah.
Yeah. Whereas Cain appeared to be guiding them, Abel was doing more of the. He was the keeper. The keeper. Yeah. So again, that's something that it all forms part of the whole story that we're going to be trying to present.